Why is China and Africa an important theme at the World Economic Forum?
Well, China has become a very important partner for Africa in many ways. First of all, it's this straight direct investment that we're seeing from China to Africa around the area of infrastructure, which is a big area of need in Africa. $100 billion required every year just to deal with infrastructure. So China is playing that big role. Secondly, is straight direct equity investments, taking over banks, joint ventures, industrial parks, trade, around oil, machinery, and so forth. All that is growing, and now China accounts for 10% of all Africa's trade.
Okay, a sub-theme within the broader context of financial management issues that have come up at the WEF is the whole question of sustainable investment. And when we look at China's investment strategy in Africa, it's got some people concerned. Concessionary loans or grants in exchange for commodities, particularly oil. Is that sustainable?
Well, obviously it's not sustainable, but I think that, to be fair to the Chinese, they're looking for an angle to get advantage of. Africa is open for anyone to deal with, and in my view, I think foreign investors should see Africa as a way, an area where they can compete to invest for advantage, for commercial advantage, and so forth. And Chinese are doing exactly that. Of course, it's not sustainable, but we hope that the relationship will move to the next level. That's why I quite like this idea of industrial parks, which are going to stimulate manufacturing activity in the rest of Africa.
Let's talk about those a little bit and how they work, because we know that manufacturing is really where Africa comes off the back foot. No competitive advantage, very expensive to invest in the technology, skills issues. How are the Chinese going to help?
Oh, well, I think the first round you will see Chinese skills being brought across to come and establish the base for manufacturing to begin to occur. Obviously, machinery, raw materials, and so forth. But I think over time you will see African entrepreneurs get involved. In any case, we propose and recommend that. Joint ventures with local entrepreneurs is a good thing, and the Chinese should be sensitive to that. It's a way to buy political insurance. It's also a way just to make sure that the activities are embedded in the commercial activities of the rest of the population where they operate. So I think there will be benefit, in the long run.
And you speak about the fact that China has helped Africa overcome its infrastructure deficit, and certainly in countries like Kenya and Nairobi, the roads, the bridges are being built by the Chinese. The question is, when do the Africans come in to fill the gap?
I think to be fair, at the beginning, if you wanted a quick job done properly without too much difficult strikes and so forth, and the Chinese are financing it, I think the chances are you would want to have the Chinese workers do that. They've got great experience in rolling out infrastructure very quickly, very efficiently. And my view is, I think we need to talk about some kind of knowledge sharing with the Chinese to kind of learn how to do this, how to manage an infrastructure rollout, which is complex, huge, and quickly. So I think it's a process. This is the first phase, in my view. The second phase, you'll see Africans really get involved in doing what.
The reason I'm asking this is because a lot has been said about infrastructure. A lot of African leaders have acknowledged the shortcomings, and many have pledged in a variety of multilateral fora to start investing more in infrastructure. And we are seeing some infrastructure bonds coming to the fore. But if the Chinese are filling the gap, the question is, for how long can they fill the gap?
The gap is huge. They will fill the gap for quite a while, frankly. If you're talking about $100 billion a year that's required, and it will go much higher. This we're talking about the gap is at the current rate of growth. If African countries do well and growth begins to move to the permanently to about 8 and 9%, which it can do, by the way, there's a potential, then even more infrastructure will be required. So I think the gap is just enormous either for domestic infrastructure bonds, for Chinese to invest in, for anyone to invest in. The opportunity is massive.